So the American Civil War was very tumultuous for Kentucky as brother versus brother. Lots of bad feelings going around everywhere. So, yeah. Let's see. Look how the racist white losers dress like they're going to church. Oh yeah, the way people are lynching, like it's crazy actually. During the lynching days and during the heyday of white supremacy, motherfuckers would lynch them and then put on their Sunday's best and then pose with the dead body, right? Because lynching, Judge Lynch was okay. You could fucking lynch a motherfucker and nobody give a shit. It was actually that's what they did, right? How dare black people think that they was going to get fucking freedom? That's how they was going to maintain them into their subordinate status through violence. So, Lake Jones was the one that the Frenchies had supposedly poisoned, but it didn't matter anyway since the Frenchies were known for a bad reputation. If that was true, it just was suspected that it happened, and then it didn't matter, right? So, the Lake Jones was supposed to be the most respected black man in Gallatin County. This is 1876. Yeah, but that's still, Malcolm X had a joke. What do you call a black man with a P? What does a white person call a black man with a PhD? Nigger. And so it doesn't matter how high of a reputation you have, still to a white supremacist, you're below them. And so, that's, right, so, the telegraph operator, Patriot, Indiana, telegraphs had been called upon to aid in the quelling Negro insurrections broke out last night only in Gallatin counties. Great fears were felt. So this is the panic of 1861. The Great Panic, right, of a Negro insurrection. There's supposed to be 300 or 400 black folks with guns, and there's some white folks was organizing them. Great fears were felt as the supposed Negroes were led on by 3 white citizens in Kentucky. The people are gathering forces to put down the rebellion. Runners have been sent to Indiana for assistance, which is actually crazy. I mean, I thought Indiana was for the Union, but they said that they brought people out. So it's May 11th, 1861. Fort Sumter was April. The Civil War's here, you know. So the people are gathering forces. Captain Wells of this place had a company ready for our own state service. Has telegraphed that he would send his men in arms to their assistance if needed. Let's see. The telegraph line has been down all morning between Patriot and Vevey, so they're unable, without any news from their lab. This is Indiana saying this. It's thought that the line been cut by insurgents to prevent the transmission of the news of the insurrection. So, you know, they're terrified that this shit was going to happen. And, that sucked, right? That sucked. So now let's gonna kind of just roll through all these stories that I got listed on top here. There's you have Judge Lynch in Warsaw. So a prisoner is charged with murder, shot and killed in the jail at Warsaw by a mob. So the party quietly disperses. A man named Abijah Gridley. And Abijah Gridley, this is important to know because I found a connection between Abijah Gridley and the people that they're supposed to be getting in a fight with. So Abijah Gridley is hung on 10/21/1871. So 10/21/1871, right? 1876. I don't know why I put 76 down. For something happened in 1876. But 71, that's when Abijah Gridley was killed. Abijah Gridley was murdered by Judge Lynch. And this is 71, so this is the years preceding the American Revolution. And so, you know, during the years preceding the American Revolution, the Confederacy was in charge. The Confederacy was in charge of Kentucky. With the Freedmen's Bureau and the troops, you know, the federal troops actually didn't leave until 1877, so there's still the Freedmen's Bureau around, but like the last report, J.J. Landrum, he had said that they needed troops. That's the only way they could be able to stop the fucking Klan that was going around. So, the story of Abijah Gridley. Abijah was confined in jail in Warsaw, Gallatin County. He was shot and killed by a mob of nearly 100 men who broke into the jail with the dread purpose of killing the prisoner. Abijah Gridley was a farmer. He lived about 5 miles from Warsaw, Gridley Hill. He was known as a reckless, bad man, surrounded with suspicious of crimes. So, you know, that they always do that. They always say, well, even if he didn't commit a crime, he was an unsavory character. Who gives a shit? Fuck him. And that justifies the murder of him, right? He had a bad reputation, so who gives a shit? He was an undesirable. Let's just get rid of him. No trial. no due process, no presenting of evidence. They just didn't like the guy and fucking killed him. So, at the last term of court, Abijah Gridley was indicted for larceny, there being several counts against him. The principal witness against him was a young man named North, who lived in the neighborhood and sustained an excellent reputation. Now, something that's incredible with North is that James Gridley marries Elizabeth North. So there's a North Gridley connection. James Gridley married Elizabeth North. Okay? And also, I wonder if Gridley was a white master's name, and then they passed it down to their slaves, since that was the tradition. You also have the Frenches, too, so I wonder if the Frenches started from a white family and then passed down their names, too. The Frenches, Ben French, will eventually get killed, too, also in Gallatin County. So, the principal witness against him was a young man named North who lived in the neighborhood. He had a good reputation, right? So this article is fucking wonderful. This is out of the Covington Journal and from the Louisville Commercial. So the principal witness was a young man named North who lived in the neighborhood and sustained an excellent reputation for appearing against him. Abijah Gridley threatened and determined in unmistakable terms to kill young North and several others. On Friday last, Gridley went to North's house and shot at him several times, fortunately without hitting him. So he tried to murder North, but wasn't able to. These two men met in Warsaw Saturday, where a quarrel soon came up, and Gridley ran into the Browns Hotel and fired at North, the bullet piercing his breast. So at the Browns Hotel, I don't know where the Browns Hotel even is. Where is this Browns Hotel at? So they shoot, Gridley finally gets a hold of North, and he shoots him in the heart and murders him. So, you know, I don't know what happened, but it almost sounds to me like, why would you go to that extent? It's some bullshit, motherfuckers lying about it, and now he's getting convicted because he was able to get somebody to lie about it. But now he's killing motherfuckers, and, you know, I don't know what he thought was going to happen after he killed them. Maybe their brothers are related, you know, maybe he was a white master's favorite, and he was black, so there's this fucking beef that's going on between them. We can never really know because we only get the fucking victors, the murderer's perspective. Then from the murderer's perspective, you know, Abijah Gridley's a fucking bad man, and this man North is a good guy. So he murders him, he kills him, mortally wounded, he can't survive. Gridley murders North, shot him at Brown's Hotel, and then Gridley jumped out the back window, attempted to escape, but then he was caught near Mr. Kearns' house, and he was placed in jail where his wife and child were permitted to remain with him, the authorities believing that in case of violence from the outside, he would be in no danger. Which, that makes no sense, okay? They say, well, we're going to put your wife and child there so that way you won't be in danger, or they actually just fucking jail them, the whole fucking family. That's what they did. They put the entire fucking family in jail, right? So, I don't know if, like, they just, I don't know, maybe by leaving them by themselves, everything, I don't know. It doesn't make, none of this makes any fucking sense, okay? So, they put him in jail with his wife and his child, and because, you know, there wouldn't be no danger. The shooting of young North created a furious excitement in Warsaw and the surrounding country, and the people were inflamed against the desperate Gridley. About 1 o'clock Sunday morning, there came a mob between 75 and 100 men, all disguised, right? That's how fucking courageous these fucking Ku Klux Klan are. They can't even show their goddamn faces. And, you know, they're murdering people, so they should be ashamed of themselves. So 75 to 100 fucking Ku Klux Klan white supremacists, not giving a fuck if he has a trial, not giving a shit if he's guilty or not caring if he has due process or if he's a citizen of these United States. This is after the war. They're Confederates. They're pissed off that they fucking lost the war, and now slavery is legal, so they have to put the pressure on black folks to make sure they understand their place. So, 1 o'clock, you got a mob of 75 to 100 white men, all disguised. The jailer left the responsibility on his wife and fled. Okay, so the fucking jailer, you know, they put him in jail. They put him in jail with his wife and his kids. They put the whole fucking family in jail, and then the jailer just fucking takes off, right? He takes off and gets scared of the mob, and he leaves the fucking key with the wife. And the mob demanded her the keys, but she said they're hidden and she would not get them or could not get them, right? I can't get them. I don't know what to do. So it actually worked. By putting her in charge, then she didn't give up the keys, but the crowd was like, fuck you, we ain't gonna, you know, you don't have to give us the keys, we're gonna get in anyway. So they took a crowbar and they forced open the jail by breaking the wall. So they broke the wall. When they got through the wall, they found Abijah Gridley. They took him out of his cell and they poured 8 revolver bullets into his body. Boom, 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 boom. Shot him 8 fucking times. Killed him instantly, and their work of vengeance being executed, and then they quietly dispersed in all directions. So once they murdered poor Abijah Gridley, then they all took off, right? Like the fucking scared little cockroaches they are. You want to know why Gridley Hill is haunted? Because we fucking lynched Abijah Gridley. Abijah Gridley was murdered by Gallatin County, and so to think that, and go drive up the fucking Gridley Hill Road. It's scary. It's all wooded and shit. But then it also, when you start looking at the houses, as soon as you get past the woods, they look like plantation houses. I have a list here of a gentleman sort of looking through his roots, and he's got lots of stuff. He says Abijah Gridley married Delia Craig. And then they had Eliza Craig Gridley, was born June 1854. And then from Eliza Craig Gridley, you got all these other names. Eventually, Abijah North Gridley. So Abijah Gridley had a son named Abijah North Gridley. So to think that a man named North, you know, isn't the same as the same family. So it seems like it's like an inner family type of thing. And it only says a man named North. It doesn't say anything else, you know, any other details about him. Also doesn't say the death date for him, so the people who wrote this list haven't caught up to, you know, what actually the ultimate demise of Abijah Gridley. And what happened to Abijah Gridley was 100 white Gallatin County men murdered him. He was in jail, and instead of waiting for justice, the criminal justice, to see what happened to him, they went ahead and said, Judge Lynch is what's going to happen, and they went ahead and they fucked him up, right? They fucking murdered him. They killed him. Let's see, I got several things here. There's another insurrection panic of 1865 or 1856. So this is 5 years before the 1861 panic. So the white people are just scaring the shit out of themselves. Somebody hears, oh my God, the blacks are organizing themselves. There's 300 or 400 of them with guns, and there's some white people that's leading them. Holy shit, we don't know what's going on. And it just sounds like it's just a rumor because they don't find who they are. They don't say any names. It's just speculation. They just make the shit up, and then they fucking get into this weird ass panic. I also got a story about the Frenches fucking getting lynched. This is another French story, another French story, and then we have Gallatin County links, and the links are actually pretty cool. We also have another sort of, another racist one. So it kind of says the culture that was going on right after the American Civil War. So it wasn't Civil War happened, blacks are free, and it's been fucking happy ever since. The war was won, but Abraham Lincoln was killed. Then you had Andrew Johnson, who started accepting the Confederate slaves back in just willy-nilly, and he was for the white man, right? So he wasn't exactly for Lincoln's shit. And then eventually unravels versus Rutherford v. Hayes. Or no, it was Hayes versus 1877 election. One of them wins, but then they concede by saying, well, why don't you just pull the troops out? So it's Tilden v. Hayes. The election of 1877, Tilden v. Hayes, is what ended Reconstruction. So blacks were free for 12 years, okay? And this is how free they were, by having to deal with all this fucking violence and all this insanity. So they weren't really free. They had to endure all these fucking, violent encounters. And the federal troops were in Kentucky, so they would have to endure it, but at least they had somebody with guns that would have helped them. But after 1877, the federal troops left, and there was no Freedmen's Bureau, and black folks were just left to fend for themselves, which essentially put them back into a quasi, no, I wouldn't say slavery, but a lot of times they were sharecroppers, and so they would be working for the same masters and shit. But it was a two-tiered caste system. So for democracy and freedom for white folks, but tyranny and bullshit violence for the black folks. So before I get to that, there's another insurrection panic of 1856. So the black iron workers and the slave insurrection panic of 1856. So what happened with the black iron workers in the insurrection of Panic of 1860. Charles B. Dew. He says exaggerated reports of excitement in Tennessee regarding anticipated Negro insurrections are circulating in other states. Noted the National Union and American on December 20th, 1856. The excitement in question was limited to the iron works on Cumberland River and their vicinity to Sumner County, Gallatin. Now I wonder if this is in Tennessee. But it says situation in Kentucky that was happened too. So it's on the Cumberland River. Gallatin used to be big, but that was long. I don't know. Well, I'll just keep on going because it's significant. It's even if it's in Tennessee, it's close enough to here. only got like 30 seconds. So, I don't know. Let's see. I'll touch on this story when we come up. So, coming up, you got the French lynchings, you got the insurrection panic of 1856, and you got a whole bunch of other random shit coming up. Gallatin County history.